Morning. Today we are finishing up our unit with PO50. I can graph a function using a function table. So yesterday we worked on making those function tables. We talked about how the input is the X, the output is the Y, and that is our ordered pair that we are going to graph. So we're going to put it all together. So in a function table, each pair of X and Y values represent an ordered pair. You can graph a function using a function table by plotting each ordered pair on a coordinate plane and connecting them with a line, which we have to put at the ends to show that it's a line. Madeline? Yeah, we have to put arrows at both ends. Otherwise, it's a segment. It stops. But functions are lines that will continue on because you can always put in new X's to get new Y's. Okay, so you can always input new numbers. So it is an arrow on both ends. So for each function table below, we're going to write each ordered pair contained in the table. So we're going to put them in those parentheses. We're going to graph the function. We're going to plot our ordered pairs like we've done in previous objectives. Then we're going to list an ordered pair not included in the table, but that will be on the line. So we're going to pay attention to how we do that. So let's look at, let me see if I can, I have to do it from my computer. All right, there we go. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at this first function table, and we're going to write, we are really not calibrated. My apologies for those of us watching, but I do need to calibrate this. Maybe if it'll let me. There we go. All right. Technology is always so fun. Okay, so let's look at our first function. What would our ordered pair be if we look at that first table? What's our first ordered pair I'm going to write? Melanie. So, say that again. So that's the rule, but we don't need to write the rule. So I love that you were thinking about what's the rule, how are we increasing? It's not +2 though for the rule. Because if we look down here, to go from 4 to 5, all of a sudden it's only 1. We're going to work with finding those rules later. So we're going to take it back a step. So Melanie, what would the first ordered pair be with our XY? Yeah, so we're going to write that ordered pair. You're just taking us ahead to a different unit. Then we're going to write our next ordered pair. What's my next ordered pair? Zelda.
0 and 2.
0, 2. What is my next ordered pair?
2,
2, 4. And what is my last ordered pair? 3, 5. You need to write each ordered pair. It's part of the directions. It's what I'm looking for. Remember, what I write on the board, you write on your binder page. Our second step is to graph the function. So we have to graph each of those ordered pairs. So -2, 0 is here. 0, 2 is here. 2, 4 is here. 3, 5 is here. So I'm going to draw a very straight line, connecting those, putting my arrows on each end. So that is graphing the function. Now my last one, says list an ordered pair not included in the table, but that is on the line. So I'm going to look at what my slope of the line is. So watch how I'm going to do this. I'm going to go up 2, over 2 is my slope. So if my slope is 2 over 2, what can that be simplified down to? 1 over 1. So I can go to this ordered pair, this point, and I can go up 1, over 1, and I'm going to have another point on my line. So I know that is -1, 1. So it's not listed in my function table. I don't have my equation to be able to put in a different input, but I can remember how we used the slope. We can find that slope. So now I'm going to use the slope to find another ordered pair. Marina. So it says an ordered pair. Can there be other ones? Yeah, Marina found another ordered pair that wasn't in our function table. We could go to this ordered pair, go up 1 over 1, and you are absolutely right, Marina. We could do 1, 3 is another ordered pair that's not on the line. Absolutely. I could go to this ordered pair and go up 1 over 1. There's another one. So that would be 4, 6. You only have to do 1, but that's how we do it. We find what our slope is, we go to an ordered pair, and use that slope to go to a point that's not on the line. If I had gone to this ordered pair and gone up 1 over 1, I would have another ordered pair that's already in the function table. I can't use one that's already there. I have to go to a different ordered pair to find a new one. So let's work on the next one to make sure we're understanding that, because that last part is the part that we're like, oh, wait a minute, this is kind of new. I'm using information I already know, but I'm using it in a new way. So we're going to go over to our second function table. What's my first step? Zelda?
Write each ordered pair.
I'm going to write each ordered pair. I have my X, I have my Y. I need to write it in my parentheses for each one. So I'm just taking my X and I'm putting my Y. Take the X and put the Y. What's my second step after I write the ordered pairs? Amanda? I have to graph it. Yeah, so I have to take -3, -2, -1, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then I need to draw as straight of a line as I can, put my arrows to graph it. Now, I can't just look at my line and say, oh, it looks like this point is on the line, I'm going to write it, because sometimes our lines aren't as straight as we want them to be. So it is important that we use the slope to make sure the point is on the line, because our drawing might not be precise. Mine isn't. Okay? I try my hardest to get it as straight as I can, but it is not precise. So I'm going to look at my points to find my slope. So if I'm at -3, -2, I'm right here, and my next one's -1, 0. So I go up 1, 2, over 1, 2 for my slope. Same slope as the last time, 1 over 1. So I'm going to go to a point where the next point is far away from it. So do you see how I got a slope of 1 over 1? Do you see how I got a slope of 2 over 2? If I have this point right here, -3, 2, and then I have negative 1, 0. I go up 2, so that's my rise. Over 2 is my run. So that's our slope objective that we did last week. That rise over the run. I went up 2, over 2. So now I can simplify that to 1 over 1. Yes, Ava?
But then what do you do with like the top dot?
We could go to this one. They all have the same slope. So if we look at it, so this is where my line isn't necessarily straight. It's all 1 over 1 for my slope. Up 1 over 1. I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Take one of those points that we hadn't graphed yet. Okay, so what would be a point that's not in my function table, but is on that line? Melanie? 1, 1, 2. Do you see why it would be a 2, not a 3, Melanie? Yeah. So 1 is the X line. So did you go here and then over?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure it's not this point because that's our up and over. So when we do that rise, we have to do the run to get it. So you have to make sure that it's a point on the line. So I know there's some of us that are still saying, yeah, I'm kind of with you, but kind of not. This is a 2-page homework, so we're going to do the next 2 together. So we really see that we are understanding this. The second page you're going to do on your own. This first page, we're going to do it together. So let's look at over here. Our first step is writing our ordered pairs. So everybody write the ordered pairs for this function table. Ordered pairs have to be in parentheses. They have to be X and Y separated by a comma. So I should see everybody writing their 4 ordered pairs. So right now, write your 4 ordered pairs. X and then Y, X, then Y, X, then Y, X, then Y. Second step is graphing it. We've done this. So let's do our graphing. -3 to -6, 0, -3 to -1, 6, 3. Then we're going to do our best to connect our line. How are we doing on the first 2 steps? Show me your thumbs. Are we feeling good about the ordered pairs and then graphing our ordered pairs? Okay. It takes practice. We're going to get more practice with it. So your line should look similar to my line. It's the last step that we're doing something new with our slope. Who can tell me what the slope of this line is?
2. Isn't 3, 3?
So if I start right here, I go up 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3. So my slope is 3 over 3. How are we feeling about finding the slope of the line? This is a previous objective. Okay, I see that there's a couple of us that are like, ooh, I'm still not positive on this objective, but most of us realize, okay, I know how to find the slope. So if you're one of my friends who's not positive, we'll work together. What can I simplify 3 over 3 to? Madeline?
1/1.
1/1. I can divide a 3 out of both the top and the bottom. So now I'm going to use this new slope and I can find any other point on the line. So I might say there's a big gap between this point and this point. So I know if I go up 1/1, that point is not in my function table, but it's on the line. So I'm going to say what that ordered pair is. So that would be 3, 0. Is that the only answer we can put? No, you can find any of these. I could go here and go up 1/1, and that would be -2, -5. So you can find any point as long as it's on that line. Use the slope. It needs to be on the line, but it cannot be one of those 4 that we got from the function table. Amanda. So if I was here at 2, -1, I go up 1/1. I use my slope to go up 1/1, and that's how I got 3, 0. Because my x is 3 and my y is 0. It's on the x-axis. Use the slope to find another point that's not on the line. Okay, so we find the slope and then we have to use it on our line. Jimena. Yes. You go rise over the run. So up or down. If it's a negative, we have to go down. So either up or down. These are positive slopes. So that top number says we have to go up 1 because it was a positive 1. Then we have to go to the right 1 because it's a 1 on the bottom. Okay. So I love how some of my friends are like, okay, I get that number 3. I know my first step for number 4 is writing my ordered pairs. So I have -2, -6, -1, -5, 0, -4, and 2, -2. So next step, I have to graph it. So -2, -6, -1, -5, 0, -4, 2, -2. Then I have to connect them. So that's my first 2 steps. I wrote my ordered pairs. I graphed them and drew the line. Arrows on both ends so we know it continues. Now to do that third step, we have to find our slope. What is our slope? If I'm at -6, I go up 1/1. So my slope, again, is 1/1. Mr. Schultz is giving us easy slopes to work with as we practice. So our slope, we went up 1, so it's positive, and then we go to the right 1. So now I'm going to go to a place on my line that doesn't already have an ordered pair. I can't say, okay, I'm going to put this one because that's already listed. I can't go up 1 and over 1 to this one because that's already listed. But I can go up 1 here and over 1 here. This point is not listed yet. So I know -3, 1 will also be, sorry, I wrote that backwards. I realized it as I started saying it. So this point right here is 1, -3. X, then the Y. So 1, -3 is on the line because the slope goes to it, but it's not already listed. I could have gone up to 2, -2 and gone up 1/1. I said, okay, 3, -1, 3, -1. Or I could have gone this way and said -3, -7. They're all on that line. It's all that 1/1 slope. Is it making a little more sense now? We have work time. So I want you working on that last page. We are correcting it tomorrow. And when you finish, you can come up and check with me to make sure we did it correctly. You can come up and ask questions if you're not sure. Math packet number 8 you can be working on if you are all done. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well. Hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful